Welcome back to House of Prep. My name's Jerry. Glad to see you guys today. Hope you guys are doing well. We're going to be talking about gas prices, and then after we talk about the gas prices for a minute, I want to go over a pack out type, preparing like a kit for your get home bag that people can call it, instead of like your bug out bag, it's your get home bag. And I want to talk about things that I use but we'll talk about that. All right, right now we're talking about gas prices. So right now I live here just outside of Nashville, and we're averaging right around $4.25 a gallon. Seems like it keeps wanting to creep up. I was watching the stock market today. Looks like the oil per barrel price that you can see on the ticker looks like it has dropped today, so that'll probably fluctuate the price a little bit tomorrow and the next day, or for the weekend. We'll see how it holds out these next couple days. But yeah, drop in the comments. Let me know where you're at. Let me know how you're holding up with the gas prices, and give me a thumbs up if you don't mind. And when we're talking about gas prices too, it seems like everything in life has gone up over time. Over the last 10 years, we've just watched a steady increase, just continual increase over goods and services. And I know that's life. You hear stories from the grandparents talking about, back when they could spend a nickel or spend a dime, and that would buy the food for the day and all the activities for the day. Well, it's just not like that anymore. And I understand it's just that natural inflation that takes place. But you got to prepare for it. You have to make sure, we talk about preparing with food, preparing for water. You have to prepare your finances for change, whether it's having cash on hand for emergencies, in case you can't access ATMs, in case power goes out for your town, or just having a good balanced budget where you have an emergency fund sitting in an account that can help ease some of these inflationary things. I'm praying, I'm hoping the gas, we get through some things in this world, that the gas prices can start working their way back down. And that would be the best case scenario. But sometimes we have to change our lifestyles, our daily habits. Don't eat out as much, maybe we can't prep as much this week. Different things that are goals and maybe dreams, and things like vacations, and sometimes things have to be postponed. Sometimes we have to plan. Some people are on limited, very strict budgets of their income, that they're limited on their income, that they can't bring in extra money, and they're already tapped out. You say, Jerry, I've already budgeted to the best of my ability. I can't budget anymore. And that becomes very difficult. And you have to come up with very creative ways to make that money stretch a little further. So hopefully these gas prices don't hold on like this forever. I hope they don't keep climbing. I hope they can come back down. But it's not in our control. It's not in our hands right now. And we have to roll with the punches, and you got to figure it out. But let's talk about this bag real quick. So I like to keep a backpack that I use when I go on trips, if I'm on vacation, if I'm going out of town, for whatever the reason. I always bring my backpack, and I'll set it up and pack it a certain way based on how far I'm going to be away from home, based on what kind of weather. Is it wintertime? Is it summertime? What kind of area that I'm going to? And a lot of that just will depend on what I pack in here. And you say, well, Jerry, why are you packing a backpack? Well, I always have the feeling that if I had an emergency, and if I'm close enough to where I feel like I could still get home, I want some basic supplies. One, I don't have it on here right now. I have like a bottled water. I'll keep it right on the side of the backpack. That's a great item to have if you have to hike back to your house, or hike back to your work, or wherever it is that you're stuck or broke down and you need to get to the next exit. Having some water on hand is crucial. That'd probably be your number one pack out item, is some water. I also keep on me a personal protection item. But when I go out of town, I like to carry like extra magazines and things to have on hand, because you're out of town. You don't have access to your normal home with your house supplies. So the backpacks, usually you want to get one that has a good waist clip, so it keeps the weight of the pack more on your hips. You'll find that if you Google that. That's a big plus that you want to make sure you get when you get a good backpack. On the hips, on the front of this backpack are little pouches. It fits great. Little backup mags fit right in here. That way it's right on the front, right on my front hip, and I can kind of keep this and just forget about it, and hopefully never ever need to pull it out. But I'll keep that depending on what I bring, and it's just nice to have a peace of mind. Again, it's insurance. We all, like the saying goes, you have it, probably won't need it, but man, if you ever do need it, you better have it. So having a good pocket knife on hand, just having one for whatever the reason, whether you're out and you got to cut something, if you're trying to get back home, you're trying to get away from an emergency, and you're out in the woods maybe, and you need to figure out a way to maybe trim some twigs for a fire, or shave something for a fire, just anything you can think of. Just having a knife on hand is crucial. Now, for me personally, and this is another reason why it's nice to have the backpack, because depending on if I'm in my vehicle, if I'm in another family member's vehicle, if I'm in a works person's vehicle, anywhere I'm going, I may not have these things in that vehicle because it's not my vehicle. So having the backpack, I can pack things and leave it there, and understand that I have backup emergency items as well. For instance, especially right now, this time of year with all this pollen, you see all these trees behind me, and flowers and everything else going on. There's pollen everywhere. Having an inhaler for my case, because I do have a case where I have asthma from time to time, and you can imagine being in an emergency situation and you're trying to hike to get home or to get somewhere, and having something emergency like this, Excedrin, or if you have aspirin or Advil or whatever it is you like to have, ibuprofen, knowing that this is in here for backup, in case me or somebody in my group is massive headaches. And you can just imagine trying to hike somewhere and having a massive headache, right? And it kill you, migraine or something, right? So just having these different thoughtful things about what might fit your specific life. We all have different needs and different things that we feel would be important to have. If it's nice and warm and humid like it is today here, you don't need like maybe a scarf and mittens and a hat, but you might definitely need, with the rain in the forecast here this week, you would definitely want to have maybe a lightweight rain jacket that you could fold up and you can stick it right in your backpack. But if it was wintertime, having an extra blanket, having those gloves that we said, and the hat, and fit to where you feel I would have some items to give me a fighting chance if I was in an emergency situation, to make it easier and more comfortable for me to make it to my destination. I'm going to throw this quick example. So I've mentioned in previous videos that I've lived in Florida. We've had hurricanes. I lived outside of Jacksonville, Florida, and one year, it's been years ago, there was this big hurricane coming, like there always is, and usually they turn away or something, but this one they said is coming, it's going to hit, and this one really spooked some folks. Well, the entire state of Florida was trying to get out of the state of Florida, so you can imagine all the highways of how crowded they got with cars. This hurricane was coming, and I had friends and people that were on the road. They got stuck, didn't even make it out of Florida, and they were at a standstill, stuck for almost 24 hours in the same spot. Luckily, the hurricane did not hit. It came right to the state, stopped, and came back exactly the way it came, right back out into the ocean. It was the craziest thing I ever saw. But that was an example of being stuck in your car. And if you would have had an emergency where you needed to get to off the road, you needed to find shelter, you needed to get somewhere, it'd be nice to have a bag with basic supplies. Or if you're close enough to get back to your house, like if you have family, you want to get back to your family. So look at this maybe as a get back to your family bag. I want to make sure that nothing stops me, whether it's thirst, whether it's hunger, whether it's pain or an intruder. Nobody's going to stop me from getting to my family and protecting my family. And that's the kind of bag that I envision for myself. Now, along with the bag in the trunk, I'll have jumper cables. I have a tire inflator that plugs into your cigarette lighter. These are also other type of little items that don't take up a ton of space, but are valuable to have in a situation where your vehicle's not starting and you need to get home, or you have a tire that's almost flat. Well, if I can get enough air in there, I can make it to the gas station or to get back to my house. And having something to inflate them on the fly is super valuable if you have a need for that. But get a backpack that has the different pouches. Like I said, you got the big inner side where you can put large items in here. Beef jerky is always a big thing. Usually I'll put some beef jerky sticks. I like the Jack's Links beef, whatever your flavors you like. Maybe you have the homemade beef jerky, and that's amazing if you do that. That's definitely cheaper that way. And you can keep it in your backpack. They do have decent shelf life, but you do have to rotate beef jerky. You can't just leave it in here indefinitely. Okay, it's not freeze dried. But having some beef jerky and some things, some snacks, maybe some trail mix. But again, you want to keep that rotated. You don't want to just put stuff in here, especially if you are putting this in a hot vehicle in the summertime. It's hot, it's humid, and you might have it stuck in your trunk, and things are gonna spoil or go bad quickly inside of a hot truck. So any type of little power bars, those are good. Anything for protein, energy, carbohydrates, a little bit of sugars, things that'll boost your morale and your physical energy if you are trying to hike or get to somewhere. Again, you're not going to survive long term with what you have in here, but if you've added some tools in here like the knife, maybe you're the kind of person like, I'm going to bring a hatchet with me, or I'm going to bring a fire starter, and even just a lighter. I mean, those types of things, they don't take up that much space. In fact, I might even have a lighter in here, to be honest with you. I might have taken it out. Flashlight, I got a flashlight in here. That's another great emergency valuable thing that, if you're in the dark and you need to go, get out and find out where you're at. Maybe having a map, if for some reason your phone's dead. What about a little battery backup charging unit for your phone in case you have to, get on foot or something to get away from your vehicle or to get back to your house? Have just enough power. If cell service is still working, maybe that will help you still communicate, right? So there's a lot of different ideas and thoughts, and I'd love to see your ideas and thoughts as well. Throw them in the comments. The sky's the limit. You can come up with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of ideas, and we could sit here and I could talk to you all day long about all the different options and things we could or could not put into a backpack, right? But it's not about necessarily long-term survival, but it's about that quick burst that I need to get somewhere, and this would give me a day or two to be able to hike to get to where I needed to go in the case there was an emergency. And I guess that would also work hand in hand as far as a get out bag, right? A go bag, to be able to just grab it in a moment's notice and get out of Dodge. Maybe having a little extra cash squirreled away on there. Just anything that you could think of that you might run into some obstacles while you're trying to get home. That's something that might try to slow you down. Come up with a solution that would help keep you on mission to where it is that you're trying to get to. Well, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Thank you so much. Remember, thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you don't mind, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye now.